York, I'm Chris Hayes. It's hard to think of a more insanely flagrant violation of the basic international order than bombing a city while the UN Secretary General is there on a peacemaking mission. Well, that's exactly what happened today. Russian forces apparently bombed the capital city of Kyiv in Ukraine while UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres was there for talks with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Ukraine's foreign minister is condemning it as a heinous act of barbarism. It's quite a provocative act of violence as this war enters its new phase. Because, well, remember, it was not supposed to be like this, and not just according to me, according to Putin. Russian President Vladimir Putin was very clear from the beginning, this was not going to be a war. Back in February, he gave a long speech where he called it, quote, a special military operation with the made-up justification of liberating Russian loyalists in the country's east and denazifying the country. In fact, Russia even made it illegal for the press in that country to call it a war or an invasion, which in turn caused the independent Russian newspaper Novaya Gazeta to move Operation Salafia after it received multiple warnings from government officials over its accurate coverage of the war as a war. The final straw came after the state banned the publication of an interview that Russian journalists conducted with President Zelensky. Now, all of this was done on purpose, even though it seems almost bizarre and paranoid, like you're waging a war. People are going to know about it, right? Because here's the thing, Putin chose his language very carefully. Even though he's obviously an authoritarian leader without any real political opposition, the fact is, public opinion still does matter. And war, total war, and mobilization for it are costly endeavors. They often require extremely difficult, unpleasant sacrifices from people. But Putin wanted to have it both ways, right? That was the plan here. He wanted a quick, strategic blitzkrieg to take out Zelensky, to encircle Kyiv, install a more favorable government, and then Russian troops could return home triumphant with some sort of puppet regime. And there's no end in sight. Right now, the conflict is escalating, not winding down. Ukraine is using the immense weapons support it's receiving from the US and EU to fend off a Russian assault on the eastern part of the country. And so Russia and Putin basically faces a fork in the road. De-escalation or doubling down. Does Vladimir Putin try to find a way out of this? Does he use his current control of territory in the east, stretching up from Crimea, which of course he seized in 2014, all the way up almost to Kharkiv, to negotiate some kind of settlement where Ukraine cedes the Donbass to the Russians or declares it some quasi-independent federated region, something like that? Or does Putin decide that he has done as much as he can with this special operation framing, but now needs to start preparing for total war? There are some really troubling signs that it may be the latter. The Center for European Policy Analysis reports, quote, Russia's military believes that limiting the war's initial goals is a serious error. They now argue that Russia is not fighting Ukraine, but NATO. If true, this is a serious escalation. Putin would need to get the Russian people on board. And to that end, many observers of Russian media have been noting over the past 2 weeks or so very ominous signs precisely along those lines.
Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakadash. And as you saw in the video, alright, it's talking about World War III. You know, that a lot of Jakes, you know, is constantly, you know, ignoring, you know, and believing that it's not going to happen. But as you can clearly see, you know, Putin pretty much bombed, you know, Ukraine while the U.S. Prime Minister was there. You know, he didn't care. All right, and war is imminent. You know, and they're not letting up. All right, and that's what the scriptures say. You know, that World War III is going to happen. You know, regardless of how many peace treaties they try to come up with, or any type of way to enter bribery or anything that the U.S. try to impose, is not going to work. You know, they're not going to care about that. You know, because why? The Lord is doing that. It's prophecy. You can't stop prophecy. All right, the scriptures say World War III gonna happen. World War III is gonna happen. You know, regardless of what the world thinks and what people believe. You know, it's gonna happen regardless. Because why? Because Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah wants it to happen. All right, they sanctioned it to happen. All right, it's written. Okay, so we're going to go to Isaiah chapter 13, and we're going to go to verse 10. All right, it says, for the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. It says, and I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. Yeah, because Babylon the Great is very proud, and all the people in it are proud. You know, our people, the women, and everything. They're all proud. You know, they think they can never go down. They think they can do whatever they want to. No consequences. All right? They think they're better than what they are. All right? When they're nothing, man. All right? They're just a creation. All right? That the Most High made. And He can easily take him out just as much as He made him. Very easily. You know, but since, you know, they, Yahweh Bashim Yahshua is not laying hands on them instantly, you know, they think they can do whatever they want to do. Okay, so let's go to verse 12. It says, I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than a golden wedge of Ophir. It says, therefore will I shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place in the wrath of the Lord of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger. All right, and what's going to cause that shake is those nuclear missiles, all right, that the Lord is going to send, you know, from using these other countries. You know, they're going to shoot missiles over here, okay, and destroy Babylon, okay? And it says that the earth will shake, all right, and the heavens, okay, because it's going to be that destructive. And it says, verse 14, and it shall be as a chased roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one into his own land. Okay, you see that's happening. A lot of foreigners are not traveling down here to America anymore. A lot of them are leaving, and they're going back to their own countries. All right, and there's been a constant decrease in, you know, foreigners, all right, coming to America. Okay, why? Because the end is nigh. All right, and in this place is being exposed. All right, it's not that delicacy that you know, Babylon project itself to be. You know, they find out it's all a bunch of bullshit and lies. Okay, so they go back. All right, but they, you know, they come over here, they still make their money and everything, but you know, they just go back to their own country. All right, because ain't nothing here. All right, this place is turning into a third world country. All right, so verse 15, it says, everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. All right, and that's 2/3 of you. All right, that's joined unto America. All right, that's joined unto Esau and his philosophies, doctrines, and religions, etc. Okay, you're gonna fall by the sword. It says, verse 16, their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. And that's gonna happen too. All right, you women, you're gonna be getting ravished. All right, all your goods and everything you got is gonna be taken away from you. Okay, because in that day you're gonna have to rely on your Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah, and if you're not in good hands with him, you know, then you're finished. All right, because you can't rely on yourself in that day. You can't rely on yourself. You know, even now you can't rely on yourself for any damn thing. All right, everything comes from Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah, from the decisions you make, from the things that happen to you. You know, it's all in the power of Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah, and if you're not good in hands with them, you know, you finish. You're gonna die, you know, regardless. Okay, so verse 17, it says, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them. Okay, and that's these other nations. So the Lord is stirring them up, as you can clearly see. You know, they're not ceasing to stop the war. All right, they're not letting up. Okay, they're going full head on with what they want to do. All right, it says, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Okay, and that's represents, all right, those peace treaties, all right, that they're trying to do. They're trying to talk, negotiate. All right, they're not listening, man. All right, they're not going to listen. They don't want that. Okay, because why? Because the Lord sanctioned it. Because he said he was going to stir up the Medes against them. All right, verse 18, their bows, all right, which is those missiles. All right, the scriptures call them bows. All right, he calls them stars. Okay, he calls them various different names throughout the scriptures. Okay, it says, their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. It says, in Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees, excellency, shall be as when Yahweh threw Sodom and Gomorrah. So yeah, that's how this place is going down, man, with fire. It says, it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation, neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their folds there. It says, verse 21, but wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there, and the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces, and her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. You see that? So the days is not going to be prolonged, man. All right, the time is short. All right, they're talking about World War III right in front of your face. All right, but you jakes, all right, 2/3 of you, okay, you men and you women, you don't want to listen. Okay, you people show you that video and you still are in denial. You still think World War III is not on the rise of happening, and we're not. We're pretty much in World War III right now already. All right, they're already shooting missiles. Okay, he shot a missile when the prime minister was in there, in the building, and it hit. Okay, so World War III is already here, man. It's already here. Okay, all right, but Jake can sit up there and look at you like you're crazy, even now. You know, like, nah, that's BS. You know, not in my lifetime. Yeah, we'll see about that. All right, because it's happening right in front of your face. All right, so here it is. This is Joel chapter 3. Okay, and it's verse. We'll start at verse 9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. And that's what we're seeing. Okay, that's what Russia is doing. Okay, China included, and all these other nations. All right, they're waking up. All right, those are the mighty men. They're preparing for war. All right, they got missiles. All right, you seen them when they're at their war games. All right, when these other nations are showing off their military might. All right, their commercials and everything, and they're flying their planes and stuff like that, testing the missiles. All right, that's them beating, pretty much preparing for war, man. Okay, verse 10, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. You know, and those nations, other nations used to be weak, you know, because they weren't nuclear capable at one point. You know, the U.S. only had it at one point. Now all the nations have it. Okay? Hell, even their other nations are selling nuclear weaponry to each other, you know, without the U.S.'s knowledge. Okay? They're doing deals behind closed doors. Okay? It says, verse 11, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Okay, verse 12, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Okay, and that's in the Middle East. All right, down there, that's where the war is going to take place. You know. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. That's it on that. All right, let's go to Matthew chapter 10, and we'll go to verse 34. It's Matthew chapter 10 and verse 34. Okay, it says, think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. Okay, and that's what that is. All right, talk about negotiations, this, that, and the third. And also throughout that video, you know, you can watch the whole thing on YouTube if you want to. But there was this guy that, you know, came up and was pretty much in denial a little bit, kind of in denial, people thinking it's real and stuff like that, and maybe they're just doing this for publicity, you know, but it's not. You know, it's 100%, you know, real in facts. You know, they're not letting up. Okay, they're not just doing it just to boast. Okay, they're sick of America and Babylon. All right, they ready to shoot missiles down here. Okay, and do what they want to do. You know, to hell with their sanctions. All right, they're not going to care about that. All right. It says, verse 35, for I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. Okay, and that's happening everywhere. You know, particularly in Babylon the Great. You know, that's happening here. You know, when the whole C-19 started, all right, when the whole what was the presidential election and everything between Trump and Biden, all right, you know what happened? You know, people start turning against each other. All right, parents was kicking the kids out the house. All right, parents was coming up against the parent. I mean, their children was coming up against the parents because of what political side they're on. All right, or if they took the jump shot or not. Okay. All right, so this is all from the Lord, man. Okay, so it says verse 36. It says, and a man's foes shall be they of his own household. All right, and that's it on that. So let's get Second Ezra. I think that's yeah, Apocrypha's not in this one. I might have to go to the other one. Yeah, there we go. We're gonna get Second Ezra chapter 13. We're gonna get chapter 13. Then we're gonna start at verse 29. All right, it says, behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth, and that's the Israelites. He's only delivering the Israelites, which is the elect, only the elect. All right, and they're all Israelites. There ain't no heathens, all right, being delivered, man. It says, verse 30, and he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth, and one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. You see? And that's what's going on. And it's going to increase. It's going to get worse, man. All right? And we ain't seen nothing yet. You know, this is just an inkling. All right? It's going to get much worse. So verse 32, it says, and the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the signs shall happen which I showed thee before. And these are the signs. Okay? It says, and then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending. All right, and that's referring to Acts. I believe Acts, the 1st chapter. All right, when Yahushua was taken up in the chariot. Salakia. Yeah, Yahushua was taken up in the chariot. All right, and, you know, the two men was looking. All right, that's how he's coming back. All right, in the chariot. It says, and when all the people hear his voice, when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another. No, that's it on that. Salakia. That's it. That's it on that. Let's go to Matthew. Let's go to Matthew. Chapter 24. Go to chapter 24 and verse 3. All right. And let's just say it like it said in Second Ezra, like it mentioned the word signs. Okay, and this is clarifying that. What's the signs? All right, so here it is. This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 3. And he sat upon the Mount of Olives. The disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? And Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach. All right, which means the anointed. Hamashiach is the Hebrew word for, you know, what you call Christ, which that's not his name. It's Yahushua, actually. Yahushua, Hamashiach Yahushua. Hamashiach means anointed. Yahushua is his name, Slakin. It says, and shall deceive many. Okay? It says, and ye shall hear of wars. You see that? That's a sign. Wars and rumors of wars. All right? And ain't that what we're seeing? That's the video we saw. That's a rumor of war. Okay? It says, see that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. You see? The end is not yet. You know, we can still go to work. We can still eat. All right. We can still go out. All right. Things ain't really escalated to that point yet. All right. So the end is not yet. But what? These are the signs before that end comes. Verse 7, for nation shall rise against nation. See that? Nation against nation. All right. Which, all these nations around the world, coming up against Babylon. All right. And kingdom against kingdom. All right. You got the whole, what they call it. Forgot what they called it, but you have certain nations splitting up from NATO. I forgot what they specifically called it. It slipped my mind, so slack you about that. But I'm sure you get what I mean. The whole thing with Britain and all that, splitting up away from NATO, and becoming its own, own little, nation or whatever. It says, and there shall be famines. You see, famines. We're hearing about famines too. All right, a lot of stores are having empty food in there. All right, and pestilences. We're hearing about that. The bird flu. All right, the C-19. Then you're hearing about some diseases that were back, what they considered back in the ancient world are coming back. And people are having that too. And the news ain't talking about it. Okay, so you got pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. A whole bunch of earthquakes everywhere, man. And they're having thousands and thousands a day. Literally a day. All right, and it's one of the most in these times than in recorded history. All right, more so now than ever. It says all of these are the beginning of sorrows. All right, and that's it, pretty much on that. So let's go. Let's get Isaiah. So those are the signs. Isaiah chapter 14. Let's get verse 1. It says, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. All right. So yeah. So those fake Jews, the wish to be the Jews that's down there in Israel today, they are not the real Jews. Okay, they are not the Israelites. They are not the Lord's chosen people. All right, see the scripture here in Isaiah 14 verse 1. It says for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. So the Lord is going to set us in our own land. Okay, not by our power. All right, by ourselves. All right, we're not going to just go down there and then everything be all good. No, the Lord is going to do it. It says, and the strangers, all right, which is the other nations outside of Israel, all right, shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Okay, and the people shall take them. All right, so we're going to take them, and it says, and bring them into their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them, and the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. So there you go, slavery, man. All right, you heathens, especially you Edomites, you the main one. You're going to be in slavery, man. And you going down. Okay? Ain't no peace treaties. Ain't no negotiations is going to stop what the Lord wants to establish. Okay? Your ass is going down. All right? America's going down. And your ass is going in slavery, man. All right? For 1,000 years. And then you're going to be exterminated according to the scriptures of Obadiah, man. Period. Okay, so it says, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. All right, and you're going to clean up every bit of filth that you spread it across the earth, man. And you're going to build our kingdom. Okay, piece by piece. All right, it says, and they shall take them captives. You see, you're going to be captives. You're going to be slaves whose captives they were. Because why? We were slaves under you. All right, and you other nations included. All right, outside of Israel, all of you. It says, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. Yeah, because you're oppressing us, man. It's obvious. You're oppressing us, man. It says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve. Yeah, even till this day, we still serving. We got to go to these bullshit ass jobs. All right? We got to, do all this, extra stupid stuff, man. Stuff that don't even matter. But we got to work at your damn jobs in order to survive and eat. I already got to pay these bills, slaving all damn day. We still slaves. Even to this day. It just makes it look like you got a choice. All right, and that's how Esau rolls. He makes it look like you got a choice. He makes it look like you got free will. All right, but you're not free. You're a slave, man. And our people, 2/3 of our people, they think they're free. You know, because they can what? Go to the store, all right, and go buy groceries, things like that. But you ain't free, man. You still gotta pay bills. You still gotta work, all right. And if you homeless, 9 times out of 10, they just gonna kill you off, all right, because they doing that behind the scenes. They killing the homeless, all right. They kidnapping homeless people, all right, and experimenting on them and stuff like that. Okay, they don't give a damn about the homeless, all right. They won't even let you, like in these restaurants. You know, if they got food that a customer didn't want, they just literally throw it away. They don't give it to the homeless. They don't give a damn about the homeless. Okay. So anyway, it says verse 4, thou shalt take up this verse 3, let's continue on. And from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve, that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. All right, so it's going to cease. It says, the Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked. All right, and that represents rulership. All right, so Esau, all right, which is in rulership to this day, his rulership is going to be brought down, man. It's going to be broken. He ain't going to rule anymore. And the sceptre of the rulers, he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted, and none hindereth. All right, it says the earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. So the earth is going to sing, man. All right, the earth is going to flourish again. All right, just like even during this whole pandemic, you know, that happened, the C-19. Okay, the earth was sort of coming back to its natural state. All right, the fish and everything started to come back, you know, to the oceans, certain parts of the ocean, because a lot of times they stayed away from it because it was polluted, and a lot of them came back, and even the color of the water turned back to its original color, you know, the vibrant blue, you know. But when people were on lockdown, you know, that's when it was happening. A lot of animals started to come out, you know. All right, so it says the old earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it on that. So yeah, even the trees gonna sing. You know, a lot of the trees that you see out here is dead, man. A lot of the leaves don't flourish like they used to. You know, hell, even we don't really know what it looks like, because, you know, we were born in this era. You know, we don't know what it was like back in the ancient world. You know, it was probably even more vibrant than it is now. All right, and when the earth was in its natural state, you know, but it's gonna be even more, you know, when this place is brought down and the kingdom is established. So all right, let's get one last one. We're gonna go to Obadiah. We're gonna start chapter, yeah, of course it's chapter 1. It's the only chapter. So let's go back. Whoops, it's the wrong one. I think it's I keep forgetting it's not in there. It's over here in the Old Testament. All right, so this is Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 2. It says, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. Yeah, you greatly despised. These other nations hate you. You know, we hate you too. All right, because they see your bullshit, man. You full of crap. It says, verse 3, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high. All right, that's how Esau lives. That's how we know it's talking about Esau, because that's how he lives. He lives in very high habitations. All right, just like in the Caucasus Mountains. All right, he lived in the mountains. He was very high. All right, he lived at the very top. All right, a lot of the buildings you see is built very tall. All right, them skyscrapers and things like that. Why? Because that's who he is, man. That's Esau, the so-called white man. That's how he lives. Whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, oh, the eagle, all right, it's on your dollar bill. Okay, so that's Esau Edom, the so-called white man. And though thou set thy nest among the stars, who said that the eagle has landed, you know, back in the day, during the first travel in space, so to speak, if that even happened, you know. It says, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord, If these came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? He says, would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? Which means, it's telling you that Esau, Edom, will literally take until there's nothing left. All right, he's a greedy little bastard, man. Verse 6, how are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. It says, the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. Okay, like with this whole NATO thing. You know, Esau, you don't set up and establish NATO. Okay, well, the people that you think, the nation that you think is at peace with you, has deceived you, man. All right, and they're gonna come up against you. It says, and prevailed against thee, that they eat thy bread, have laid a wound under thee, and there is none understanding in him. It says, shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom? And we're seeing that. All right, a lot of them slipping up on their words, you know, and during that press conferences. All right, with the whole C-19 thing, you know, they call it the pandemic, and then the woman was on live and she said pandemic. All right, they came out and said things like that. Okay, all right, a lot of them, you know, slipping up on the tongue, man. Why? Because the Lord is taking them out. All right, their witchcraft isn't working like it used to. A lot of people see through their bullshit, man. All right, through their witchcraft. It's not as strong as it used to be. It says, verse 9, and thy mighty men, O T man, shall be dismayed, to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. Okay, so that's how Esau, you so-called white people going down, man. You're going to get cut off by slaughter. You're going to die. It says, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob. All right, and that's your reason right there. For violence against thy brother Jacob. All right, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You're Jacob. Okay, so they committed violence against you. It says, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. All right, eternal, forever. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, and the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them. You see? Yeah, because they didn't help. They didn't care. They wanted us to go down. Let's go on down to verse 15. It says, for the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen, as thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. Yeah, because Esau think he got away with it. You think he got away with putting us in captivity and all the atrocities done from back then even till now. You know, hell, even in the ancient world, he was doing all kinds of, you know, atrocities, all right, to us. You know, he's going to get paid back for that, man. It says, for as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, it says, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down. They shall be as though they had not been. Okay, and that drink represents, all right, the destruction, the wrath, all right, of Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai. In that destruction, the plagues, the curses, ultimately the curses, are the curses that's on us. You know, being oppressed, all right, being called proverbs, bywords, all right, not having any power, all right, our women are coming up against us, all right, just completely destroyed, man, mentally, physically, spiritually, in every way, shape, or form. All right, all that is going on them, and double. It's gonna be double. Okay, so so they're gonna be as though they had not been, as it says down here at the end of verse 16. So they show, because you know the world's so used to seeing Esau on top. You know, pretty soon they're gonna be they're not gonna have anything. You know, they're not gonna have anything. It says verse 17, but upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord has spoken it. You see? So that's going to be your extermination. You ain't going to exist no more. After you serve your 1,000 years, your ass is going to be put to death, man. You're going to be burnt up with fire. All right, so, you know, that's pretty much it. That's the lesson. Lord willing, this was edifying. I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakakadash. You know, keep your eyes open. You know, keep your eyes open on the news. You know, because any day this could pop off. You know, we never know. You know, the scriptures say that that he's coming like a thief in the night. You know, we don't know the day when the Lord is going to return. So, or when these things going to kick off. You know, Jacob's trouble. You know, the martial law. You know, things like that. When they shut things down. You know, we don't know. So you gotta keep your eyes open. You know, watch the news. You know, be watchful. And that's pretty much it. So, shalom.